Yeah, on the recorder. That was the best part. That was the worst part.
Okay, I can start.
We can start?
Okay.
It's Kanika. Okay, you can start.
I'm Kanika Andhare and I will be reading an excerpt from The Bridge to Terabithia by Kathleen Patterson. This is the story of a boy named Jess and a girl named Leslie. Ever since they became friends, Jess feels like he's in a whole new world where they both can do anything. We need a place, she said, just for us. It would be so secret that we wouldn't tell anyone in the whole world about it. Jess came swinging back and dragged his feet to a stop. She lowered her voice almost to a whisper. It might even be a whole secret country, she continued. And you and I would be the rulers of it. Her words stirred something inside of him. He would like to be the ruler of something, even something that wasn't real. Okay, he said. When could we have it? Over there in the woods, where nobody would come and mess it up. There were parts of the woods that Jess did not like. Dark places where it was almost like being underwater. But he didn't say so. I know, she was getting excited. It could be a magic country like Narnia, and the only way you can get in is by swinging across this enchanted rope. Her eyes were bright. She grabbed the rope. Come on, she said. Let's find a place to build our castle stronghold. They had only gone a few yards into the woods, beyond the creek bed, when Leslie stopped. How about right here? She asked. Sure. Jess agreed quickly, relieved that there was no need to plunge deeper into the woods. As a regular thing, and as a permanent place, this was where he would choose to be. Sure, he repeated himself, nodding vigorously. The underbrush was dry and would be easy to clear away. The ground was almost level. This would be a good place to build. Leslie named their secret land Terabithia. And she loaned Jess all of her books about Narnia, so he would know how things went in the Magic Kingdom. He didn't know, but he could make Terabithia come alive, or at least build a castle stronghold. You should draw a picture for us of Terabithia for us to hang in the castle, Leslie said. I can't. How could he explain it in a way that Leslie would understand? How he yearned to reach out and capture the quivering life above him. And how when he tried, it slipped past his fingertips, leaving a dry fossil upon the page. I just can't get the poetry out of trees, he said. She nodded. Don't worry, she said. You will someday. He believed her because there, in the shadowy light of the stronghold, everything seemed possible. The sun shined on that Christmas Eve afternoon. In a few hours, it would rest, and Santa would come, or so Maybelle hoped. Just laughed as those thoughts ran through his mind. Sweet little sister she is. Maybelle brought Leslie to his mind, and he thought, what can I get her this Christmas Eve? God answered that question very quickly. Jess told Leslie to meet him at the castle stronghold on the Christmas Eve afternoon. The dog was a little brown and black thing with great brown eyes. It was a clever, lively little thing, a present Jess could be proud of. There was no mistaking the delight in Leslie's eyes. She dropped to her knees on the cold ground and picked the puppy up and held it close to her face. Watch it, Jess cautioned. Its face worse than a water pistol. Leslie moved a little out of the way. Is it male or female? Once in a little while, there was something he could teach Leslie. Boy, he said happily. Then we will name him Prince Terran and make him the guardian of Terabithia. She put the puppy down and got to her feet. Where are you going? To the grove of the pines, she answered. This is a time of greatest joy. Later that afternoon, Leslie gave Jess his present. It was a box of watercolors with 24 tubes of color and 3 brushes and a pad of heavy art paper. Lord, he said, thank you. He tried to think of a better way to say it, but he couldn't. Thank you, he repeated. A few months later, it had been the perfect day. The rain had brought its joy to him for once. Jess felt alive and brave. He was willing to pay the price for such a good day, even if his mother yelled at him. He sighed a content sigh and felt his heart rate going up again. Leslie was going to be so surprised. He just couldn't wait to tell her all about it. He was about to run to Terabithia when he decided to go home and tell his mother that he was safe. Better face the music faster. He was all the way into the kitchen before he realized something was wrong. His dad's pickup had been outside the door, but he hadn't taken it in until he came into the room and found all of his family sitting there. his parents and Mabel on the kitchen table, and Brenda, his elder sibling, on the couch. He stood unmoving for a second while they stared at him. Suddenly, his mother let out a great shuddering sob. "Oh my God! Oh my God!" She said it over and over, her head down in her arms. His father moved to put his arm around her awkwardly, but he didn't take his eyes off Jess. "I told you just gone off somewhere," Mabel said quietly and stubbornly, as though she had repeated it often and no one believed her. He didn't even know what question to ask them. Well, he tried to begin. Brenda's pouting voice broke in. "Your girlfriend's dead, and Mama thought you were dead too." "No!" Something whirled around in Jess's head. He opened his mouth, but it was dry, and no words came out. He jerked his head from one face to the next, for someone to help him. Finally, his father spoke, his big rough hand stroking his wife's head, and his eyes downcast, watching the ocean. "They found the poor girl this morning down in the creek." "No," Jess said, finding his voice. "Leslie wouldn't drown. She could swim real good." "That old rope you kids been swinging on broke." His father went quietly and relentlessly on. "They think she must have hit her head on something when she fell." "No!" He shook his head again. "No!" His father looked up at him. I'm real sorry, boy." "No!" Jess was yelling now. "I don't believe you! You're lying to me!" He looked around again, wildly for someone to greet. But they all had their heads down, except Mabel, whose eyes were wide with terror. "No," he said straight at Mabel. "It's a lie! Leslie ain't dead!" He turned around and ran out the door, letting the screen bang sharply against the house. He ran down the gravel to the main road and started running west. An approaching car beeped, it swerved and beeped again. But he hardly noticed. Leslie, dead! Rope, broke, fell. The words exploded in his head, like corn against the sides of a popper. "God, dead! Leslie, dead!" He ran until he was stumbling, but he kept on, afraid to stop, knowing somehow that running was the only thing that could keep Leslie from being dead. It was up to him. He had to keep going.
To write her the piece name and the author for me. Wonderful. Just 1 second. Bridge to. I don't know if I can spell
T-E-R-A-B-I-T-E-R-A-B-I-T-H-I-A.
T-E-R-A-B-I-T-H-I-A.
In this emotional piece, cultures clash as the narrator, a Chinese-American teenager, grows frustrated at her younger classmate who refuses to talk. Why is the narrator so insistent? What does her bullying of the younger girl reveal about her own insecurities? The Girl Who Wouldn't Talk by Maxine Hong. "You're going to talk," I said, my voice steady and normal, as it is when talking to the familiar, the weak, and the small. "I am going to make you talk, you sissy girl." She stopped backing away and stood fixed. I looked into her face so I could hate it up close. She wore black bangs and her cheeks were pink and white. She was baby soft. I thought that I could put my thumb on her nose and push it bonelessly in, indent her face. I could poke dimples in her cheeks. I could work her face around like dough. She stood still, and I could not look at her face anymore. I hated fragility. I reached up and took the fatty part of her cheek. Not dough, but meat between my thumb and finger. This close, and I could see no pores. Talk, I said. Are you going to talk? Her skin was fleshy, like squid out of which the glassy blades of bones had been pulled. I wanted tough skin, hard brown skin. I had calloused my hands. I had scratched dirt to blacken the nails, which I cut straight across to make stubby fingers. I gave her face a squeeze. Talk! When I let go, the pink rushed back into my white thumbprint on her skin. I walked around into her other side. Talk! I shouted into the side of her head. I squeezed her other cheek. Are you? Huh? Are you going to talk? She tried to shake her head, but I had hold of her face. She had no muscles to jerk away. Her skin seemed to stretch. I let go in horror. What if it came away in my hand? No, huh? I said, rubbing the touch of her off my finger. Say no, then, I said. Say no. She shook her head, her straight hair turning with her head, not swinging side to side like the pretty girls. She was so neat. Her neatness bothered me. Say hi, I said. Hi, like that. Say your name. Go ahead. Say it. Or are you stupid? You're so stupid, you don't know your own name. Is that it? When I say, what's your name? You just blurt it out, okay? What's your name? I looked right at her. I know you talk, I said. I've heard you. Her eyebrows flew up. Something in those black eyes was startled, and I pursued it. I was walking past your house when you didn't know I was there. I heard you yell in English and in Chinese. You were just talking. You were shouting. You were saying, where are you? Say that again. Go ahead, just the way you did at home. I yanked harder on your hair, but steadily, not jerking. I did not want to pull it out. Go ahead. Say, where are you? Say it loud enough for your sister to come. Call her. Make her come help you. Call her name. I'll stop if she comes, so call. Go ahead. She shook her head, her mouth curved down, crying. I could see her tiny white teeth, baby teeth. I wanted to grow big, strong, yellow teeth. You do have a tongue, I said, so use it. I pulled the hair at her temples, pulled the tears out of her eyes. Say ow, I said. Just ow. Say let go. Go ahead. Say it. I'll honk you again if you don't say let me alone. Say leave me alone and I'll let you go. I will. I'll let you go if you say it. You can stop this anytime you want to, you know. All you have to do is tell me to stop. Just say stop. You're just asking for it, aren't you? You're just asking for another honk. Well then, I suppose I'll have to give you another honk. Say stop. But she didn't. I had to pull again and again. Sounds did come out of her mouth. Sobs, chokes, noises that were almost words. Snot ran out of her nose. She tried to wipe it on her hands, but there was too much of it. She used her sleeve. You're disgusting, I told her. Look at you, snot streaming down your nose. And you won't say a word to stop it. You're such a nubbin. I moved behind her and pulled the hair growing out of her weak neck. I let go. I sat silent for a long time. Then I screamed, talk! I would scare the words out of her. If she had had little bound feet, the toes twisted under the balls, I would have jumped up and landed on them, crunch, stomped on them with my iron shoes. She cried hard, sobbing aloud. Cry mama, I said. Come on, cry mama. Say, stop it. Far away, coming from the edge of town, I heard whistles blow. The cannery was changing shifts, letting out the afternoon people, and still, we were here at school. It was a sad sound. Work done. The air was lonelier after the sound died. Why won't you talk? I started to cry. What if I couldn't stop? And everyone would want to know what happened. Now look what you've done, I scolded. You're going to pay for this. I want to know why. And you're going to tell me why. You don't see I'm trying to help you out, do you? Do you want to be like this? Dumb. Do you know what dumb means? Your whole life? Don't you want to be a cheerleader? Or a pom-pom girl? What are you going to do for a living? Yeah, you're going to have to work because you can't be a housewife. Somebody has to marry you before you can be a housewife. And you You are a plant. Do you know that? That's all you are if you don't talk. If you don't talk, you can't have a personality. You'll have no personality and no hair. You've got to let people know you have a personality and a brain. You think somebody's gonna take care of you all your stupid life? You think they'll always have your big sister? You think somebody's gonna marry you? Is that it? Well, you're not the type that gets dates, let alone gets married. Nobody's gonna notice you. You have to talk for interviews. Speak right up in front of the boss. Don't you know that? You're so dumb. Why do I waste my time on you? Sniffling and snorting, I couldn't stop crying and talking at the same time. I kept wiping my nose on my arm, my sweater lost somewhere. Probably not worn because my mother said to wear a sweater. It seemed as if I had spent my life in that basement, doing the worst thing I had yet done to another person. I'm doing this for your own good, I said. Don't you dare tell anyone I've been bad to you. Talk! Please talk.
I got the girl who was the author, just the author, please. Just give me a second.
My name is Zoe Butler, and I'll be reading a script from The Giver. This dystopian novel by Rose Lowry depicts a seemingly utopian community that abolished memories like suffering and death, resulting in superficial experiences without emotions. At 11, Jonas becomes the new prestigious receiver, the sole person who holds past memories. Mentored by the giver, the old receiver, Jonas starts recognizing the fallacies of the only community he and the society have known. One of these aspects is the euphemized practice of release. During one of the meetings with the giver, Jonas asked, "What happens when they make the actual release?" "I was only asking about release because my father is releasing a twin new child today. He has to select one and release the other one. They do it by weight. I think it was this morning." The release of a new child, which was troubling for the managers, who felt they had failed somehow. The celebratory release of the elderly for a life well and fully lived. And for a third transgression, release was a final, terrible, disgraceful punishment. The giver asked, "Do you want to see this morning's release?" As Jonas watched the screen, he wondered if there was someone waiting to receive the tiny released twin. For a moment, he felt a tiny, fluttering hope that in Belirsa, the old female he met earlier, waiting to receive the new child. He remembered her sparkling eyes, her soft voice, her low chuckle. Larissa had been released at a wonderful ceremony. Her life elsewhere would be quiet and serene, as befitted the old. Jonas can see a small windowless room on the screen, empty, except for a bed, a table with some equipment on it, and a cupboard. "It's just an ordinary room. I thought maybe they'd have an auditorium, so that everybody could come." Jonas's father, wearing his nurturing uniform, entered the room, cradling a tiny new child. A woman followed, carrying a second new child. "That's my father." The two nurturers laid the identical newborns on the bed, and gently lifted one, and then the other to the scale and weighed them. "Good. I thought for a moment that they might both weigh the same. Then we'd have a problem. But this one is 6 pounds even, so you can clean him up and dress him and take him over to the center. And you little guy, you're only 5 pounds 10 ounces. A shrimp! That's the special voice uses with Gabriel, the new child we care for. Watch. Now he cleans him up and makes him comfy. He told me once. Be quiet, Jonas. Watch. Jonas's father took out a syringe and a small bottle and began very carefully to direct the needle into the top of the new child's forehead. The newborn squirmed and wailed faintly. Why is it? Shh! I know, it hurts, little guy. But I have to use a vein, and the veins in your arms are still too teeny-weeny. All done. That wasn't so bad, was it? As he continued to watch, the new child, no longer crying, moved his arms and legs in a drinking motion. Then he went limp. His head fell to the side, his eyes half open. Then he was still. With an odd, shocked feeling, Jonas recognized the poster. He had seen it before, but he couldn't remember where. Jonas stared at the screen, waiting for something to happen. But nothing did. The little twin lay motionless. The memory that he received from the giver came back. Once again, he felt the choking sensation. Once again, he saw the face of the light-haired, bloodied soldier as life left his eyes. He continued to stare at the screen numbly. His father opened a small door in the wall that looked like a chute into which trash was deposited. His father loaded the carton containing the body into the chute and gave it a shot. Well, there you are, Jonas. We're wondering about babies. Jonas felt a ripping sensation of terrible pain clawing its way forward to emerge in a cry. He killed it! My mother killed it! My father! My father! A nurturer! A killer? The giver went to the wall speaker and clicked the switch to on to instruct the receptionist. Yes, Mr. Stewart, how may I help you? Notify the new receiver's family unit that he'll be staying with me tonight for additional training. I will take care of that, sir. Thank you for the instructions. I will take care of that, sir. I will do what you like, sir. I will kill people, sir. Small and newborn people? I'd be happy to kill them, sir. Thank you for your instructions, sir. How may... Listen to me, Jonas. They can't help it. They know nothing. It's the way they live. It's the life that was created for them. It's the same life that you would have had if you had not been chosen as my successor. But he lied to me! It's what he was told to do. And he knows nothing else. This is always like that? They do that just to maintain the number of new children? For people who break the rules 3 times? For the old? Did they kill Larissa too? Yes, it's true. The community did not eliminate death. They brought it home. Thank you.
Just the offer they give her, I don't. Yeah, it just, you could, just, good morning.
You got it.
WRY?
Yes.
The year is sometime in the far future, and the children of the planet Venus are excited to finally see the sun after 7 years of constant rain. One of these excited children is Margot, who came from Earth and remembers the magic of sunshine. Will jealousy stop Margot from experiencing sunlight again? All Summer in a Day by Ray Bradbury. Ready? Ready. Now? Soon. Do the scientists really know? Will it happen today? Will it? Look, see for yourself. The children pressed to each other, like so many roses, so many weeds, intermixed, peering out for a look at the hidden sun. It rained. It had been raining for 7 years, thousands upon thousands of days compounded and filled from one end to the other with rain, with the drum and gush of water, with the sweet crystal falls of showers, and the concussion of storms so heavy they were tidal waves come over the islands. And this was the way life was forever on the planet Venus, and this was the schoolroom of the children, of the rocket men and women who would come to a raining world to set up civilization and live out their lives. It's stopping! Yes! Margot stood apart from them, from these children who could never remember a time when there wasn't rain and rain and rain. They were all 9 years old, and if there had been a day 7 years ago when the sun came out for an hour and showed its face to the stunned world, they could not recall. All day yesterday, they had read in class about the sun and how like a lemon it was and how hot. And they had written short stories or essays or poems about it. I think the sun is a flower that blooms for just 1 hour. That was Margot's poem, read in a quiet voice in the classroom while the rain was falling outside. "Oh, you didn't write that," protested one of the boys. "I did," said Margot. "I did." But that was yesterday. Now the rain was slackening, and the children were crushed in the great, thick windows. Margot stood alone. She was a very frail girl who looked as if she had been lost in the rain for years, and the rain had washed out the blue from her eyes, and the red from her mouth, and the yellow from her hair. Now she stood, separate, staring at the rain and the loud, wet world beyond the huge glass. "What are you looking at?" said William. Margot said nothing. "Speak when you're spoken to." He gave her a shove, but she did not move. And this was because she would play no games with them in the echoing tunnels of the underground city. And then, of course, the biggest crime of all was that she had come here only 5 years ago from Earth, and she remembered the sun and the way the sun was, and the sky was when she was 4 in Ohio. And they had been on Venus all their lives, and they had been only 2 years old when last the sun came out, and had long since forgotten the color and heat of it and the way it really was. But Margot remembered. "It's like a penny," she said once, eyes closed. "No, it's not," the children cried. "It's like a fire," she said, "in the stove." You're lying, you don't remember," cried the children. But she remembered, and stood quietly apart from all of them and watched the patterning windows. And so the children hated her for all these reasons of big and little consequence. "Get away!" The boy gave her another push. "What are you waiting for?" Then, for the first time, she turned and looked at him, and what she was waiting for was in her eyes. "Well, don't wait around here," cried the boy savagely. "You won't see nothing." "Nothing," he cried. "It was all a joke, wasn't it?" He turned to the other children. "Nothing's happening today, is it?" They all blinked at him, and then, understanding, laughed and shook their heads. Nothing. But this is the day the scientists predict. They say they know the sun. All a joke," said the boy, and seized her roughly. "Hey, everyone, let's put her in a closet before the teacher comes." "No," said Margot, falling back. They surged about her, caught her up and bore her, protesting, and then pleading, and then crying, back into a room, a tunnel, a closet, where they slammed and locked the door. They stood looking at that door and saw it tremble from her beating and throwing herself against it. They heard her muffled cries. Then, smiling, They turned and went out, back down the tunnel, just as the teacher arrived. Ready, children? She glanced at her watch. Yes, said everyone. Are we all here? Yes. The rain slacked still more. They crowded to the huge door. The rain stopped. The door slid back, and the smell of the silent, waiting world came into them. The sun came out. It was the color of flaming bronze, and it was very large, and the sky around it was a blazing blue tile color. The children rushed out, yelling into the springtime. They were running and turning their faces to the sky and feeling the sun on their cheeks like a warm iron. They were taking off their jackets and letting the sun burn their arms. Oh, it's better than sun lamps, isn't it? Much, much better. They ran among the trees. They slipped and fell. They pushed each other. They played hide and seek and tag. But most of all, they squinted at the sun until the tears ran down their faces. They looked at everything and savored everything. In the midst of their running, one of the girls wailed. Everyone stopped. The girl, standing in the open, held out her hand. Oh, look, look, she said, trembling. They came slowly to look at her open palm. In the center of it, cupped and huge, was a single raindrop. She began to cry looking at it. They glanced quietly at the sun. Oh, oh. A few cold drops fell on their noses and their cheeks and their mouths. They stood in the doorway of the underground for a moment until it was raining hard. Then they closed the door and heard the gigantic sound of the rain falling in tons and avalanches everywhere and forever. Then one of them gave a little cry. Margot! What? She's still in the closet where we locked her. Margot! They stood as if someone had driven them, like so many stakes, into the floor. They looked at each other and then looked away. Margot! They walked slowly down the hall to the sound of cold rain. They walked over to the closet door and stood by it. Behind the closet door was only silence. They unlocked the door even more slowly and let Margot out.
Just tell me again, I did write it.
It's all summer in a day. Do you want me to write it?
All summer?
In a day.
All summer.
By
And by
Ray Bradbury.
Ray
And Brad.
Brad
B.
R.Y.
Charlie suffered abuse as a child because of his severe learning difficulties. He was helped, however, by a surgery that made him more intelligent and emotionally stable. In the following excerpt, Charlie is trying to reconcile with the sad realization that the surgery has stopped working and he is regressing. Flowers for Algernon by Daniel Keyes. Progress Report 17, October 3rd. Downhill, felt aware of the world around me. But then I think of Charlie waiting at the window. His life is not mine to throw away. I've just borrowed it for a while, and now I'm being asked to return it. I must remember, I'm the only person this has ever happened to. As long as I can, I've got to keep putting down my thoughts and feelings. These progress reports are Charlie Gordon's contribution to mankind. I have become edgy and irritable lately. I know I should sleep, but I begrudge every second of waking time. It's not just because of the nightmares. It's because I'm afraid of letting go. October 4th. Strangest therapy session I've ever had. What happened, I don't dare call it a memory, was a psychic experience or a hallucination. I won't attempt to explain or interpret it, but I'll only record what happened. I'll tell you something, I'm sick and tired of coming here. What's the sense of therapy anymore? You know as well as I do what's going to happen. I felt myself becoming lightheaded. My mind was a blank. I felt isolated and empty. I feel strange. It's hard to explain. A feeling I've had once or twice before, just before I fainted. A lightheadedness, everything tense. But my body feels cold and numb. I have the feeling that Charlie is close by. My eyes are open, I'm sure of it. And yet I see a blue-white glow from the walls and the ceiling, gathering into a shimmering ball. Now it's suspended in midair. Light forcing itself into my eyes and my brain. Everything in the room is aglow. I have a feeling of floating, or rather, expanding up and out. And yet, without looking down, I know my body is still here on the couch. Is this a hallucination? Charlie, are you all right? I shook my head. I'm all right. I think maybe that's all for today. I got up and swayed as I regained my perspective. Not only for today. I don't think I should have any more sessions. I don't want to see you anymore. October 5th. The doctor sent for me again this morning. To see what's happening deep down? What do you expect to find? I must have looked upset because he started to back off. We don't have to. If you don't want to, you're here voluntarily. That's all right. Go ahead. Deal out the cards, but don't tell me what you find out. He didn't have to. It's not valid. I know what you're looking for. I know the kind of response I'm supposed to have to create a certain picture of what my mind is like. All I've got to do is... He looked up at me, waiting. All I've got to do is... But then it hit me, like the fist against the side of my head, that I didn't remember what I had to do. It was as if I'd been looking at the whole thing clearly on the blackboard of my mind, but when I turned to read it, part of it had been erased and the rest didn't make any sense. At first I refused to believe it. I went through the cards in a panic, so fast that I was choking on my own words. I wanted to tear the ink blots apart, to make them reveal themselves. Somewhere in those ink blots were answers I had known just a little while ago. Not really in the ink blots, but in the part of my mind that would give form and meaning to them, and project my imprint on them. And I couldn't do it! I couldn't remember what I had to say. All missing. That's a woman, on her knees watching the floor. No, it's a man holding a knife. And even as I said it, I knew what I was saying, and I switched away and started off in another direction. No, it's two faces staring at each other through the window, and I swept the cards off the table and got up. No more tests. I don't want to take any more tests. All right, Charlie, stop for today. Not just for today. I'm not coming back here anymore. Whatever there is left in me that you need, you can get it from the progress reports. I'm through running the maze. I'm not a guinea pig anymore. I've done enough and I want to be left alone now. All right, Charlie, I understand. No, you don't understand, because it isn't happening to you. And no one can understand but me. I don't blame you. You've got your job to do and your PhD to get to. And, oh yes, don't tell me. I know you're in this largely out of your love of humanity, but you've still got your life to live, and we don't happen to belong on the same level. Don't you think you should talk to? Say goodbye to everyone for me, will you? I don't feel like facing any of them ever again. Before he could say any more and try to stop me, I was out of the lab and I caught the elevator down and out of Beekman for the last time. October 7th. The doctor tried to see me again this morning, but I wouldn't open the door. I want to be left to myself now. It's a strange sensation to pick up a book you read and enjoyed just a few months ago and discover you don't remember it. I recall how wonderful I thought Milton was, but when I picked up Paradise Lost, I could only remember it was about Adam and Eve and the Tree of Knowledge, but I couldn't make sense of it. I stood up and closed my eyes and saw Charlie, myself, 6 or 7 years old, sitting at the dinner table with the schoolbook, learning to read, saying the words over and over, with my mother sitting beside me. Try it again! See Jack, run. See Jack, see. No, not see Jack, see, it's run, Jack, run! Pointing with her rough scrubbed finger. See Jack, run. Run, Jack, see. No, you're not trying! Do it again! Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Leave the boy alone. You've got terrified. He's got to learn. He's too lazy to concentrate. Run, Jack, run. Run, Jack, run. Run, Jack, run. Run, Jack, run. He's slower than the other children. Give him time. He's normal. There's nothing wrong with him. Just lazy. I'll beat into him until I have to. Run, Jack, run. Run, Jack, run. Run, Jack, run. Run, Jack, run. And then, looking up from the table, it seems to me I saw myself through Charlie's eyes, holding Paradise Lost. And I realized I was breaking the binding with the pressure of both hands, as if I wanted to tear the book in half. I broke the back of it, ripped out a handful of pages, and flung them in the book across the room to where the broken records lay. I let it lay there. Its torn white walls were laughing because I couldn't understand what they were saying. I've got to try to hold on to some of the things I've learned. Please, God, don't take it all away.
Can you tell me when it's right?
Oh, yeah. It is Flowers for Algernon.
For,
Algernon. GERNON.
okay.
By Daniel Keyes. But it's Keyes.
K-E-Y-E-S. Okay, Daniel, thank you very much, girls.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, you guys are amazing, all of you.
Thank
Very
you.
difficult. All fantastic. Okay, thank you. Merci bien.
We're going to outside. Yeah. I'm pretty sure like we're flipping on this. I'm going to get food.
I'm all very. Good luck, girls, fantastic, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed that, wow. Who trained you?
Please stay.
All three of you?
Yeah, we had two options, and both had other daughter problems. Like here. Yeah, that's the I will not forget my line next time. I will not get any. I know, Stephanie. Okay, sir, give some feedback. We need to find that out.
No, but the education of
What room was it? I didn't show it. What room? Should I roll that? Should I go there, guys? You want me to call you? Go pick up your folder for the office. That's okay. My school office? Yeah. Okay, I'll be right there. Hi, Chuck. Hi. What are you guys doing?
Oh, wait. Where's Nick?
What are you doing?
You and the other?
Yes. Fine.
This is my extemp room.
Yeah, I'm your timer.
Yeah, but this is the draw time.
It should start
I don't
4:45.
speak until half an hour. I don't speak until 4:46.
Oh, dang. Wait, that's.
No, I don't speak until